Action.
Yes, there, take it back us. I'm just reaching you today to let you know that we're fine after yesterday's event at the Palace of the Oni of Ife. Most of you have been trying to reach me, reach our team to find out how we're doing and how we're faring. Yes, with stuff, so many of our guys got sick, and I was told that the woman who collapsed at the event is still hospitalized, and the student was also hospitalized, but we're fine and out of harm's way at this point. It's important to address it because, as you know, a lot of people are out there taking whatever bits they like out of what happened yesterday and using it for whatever purpose that suits them. That's fine by us, but we have a duty to keep you all informed, ready, and motivated, so that you understand that these are revolutionary times. And when you have revolutionary times and revolutionary people, especially ideas driven by youth and technology, you get into all kinds of trouble. We haven't seen the worst yet, and but we should all be prepared for it. This is a battle of our lives. A whole generation of people, almost 80% of them, under poverty, they're under oppression, they have been suppressed daily by a minority of people who are holding Nigeria to ransom. And they're holding Nigeria to ransom, using all kinds of tactics. They hide in different places, in different corners and crevices. It is not strange to me. I've been through this before, where I was pushing. I've been part of people pushing revolutionary ideas. When we wanted to drive the military out, it was the same thing. People thought we were crazy. That it was impossible. Abacha, for example, died a few days after 5 political parties had adopted him to be their candidate for the election, and that was the end. So we've seen a lot of this thing happen, and sometimes when oppression is about to collapse, or the infrastructure of oppression is about to collapse, it presents, a facade that makes it look as if it's at the peak of its existence. And after that, you discover that if you push harder, you see the end of oppression. You see the end of this very rapaciously wicked, greedy class of people. Since yesterday, there's been a lot of threats, but I'm not new to threats. There's been a lot of, agitation, but I'm also very, very happy that a lot of young people, a lot of Nigerians have seen through what is happening. I don't want to dwell on what happened yesterday. That's the reason we waited behind and concluded our event at the Palace of the Honor of Ife. And he spoke, and we have spoken as well. He heard us very clearly that there is an agitation for generational change, and that this country must go through it. So, I just want to let people see my face, just let you know that I'm good, I'm feeling upbeat as usual, and we have been engaging in a lot of campaign activities since yesterday, and we will continue to do more, and we want you to feel energized wherever you may be. Continue to support us financially, support us in whichever way you can support this. We are doing very well. You remember that a few months ago, they were saying where we should really get a party. So now we have a party. And those who claim that they were not worried about our candidature, they can't rest. They are very, very worried now, because we are presenting solid ideas that has become acceptable and with which a lot of our people can relate. And it doesn't matter how they do or how they handle this, they know that we're on the right path. So I just wanted to come around and say hello to all of you. Those of you who've been asking after my well-being, that I'm fine, and we will all be fine. At the end of the day, what needs to happen is that this country becomes a country that respects our integrity, our dignity, and understand that we have a right to live peacefully and prosperously and live in a progressive society. And that is what they can't stand. As you know, what happened in Ife did not start at Ife. When we went to the palace of Olofa, while we were meeting with Olofa, the Kwara State governor called him, and the next moment, he wouldn't want to come out and talk to us. When we went to have the rally, the town hall meeting in Ofa, as we were leaving, the Kwara State government had organized some guys to waylay us there. But those who were energized by the fresh ideas we brought there were the ones who freed us. And we proceeded from there to Ife. Went to the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife. We had a great reception. And as a matter of fact, the reason we went back there after we left the Palace of the Army was because we wanted the students to know that we're fine. And just so that, the insinuation that we're being held to ransom will not lead to anything. But wherever you may be, stand your ground. Stand your ground for what you believe. This is the time to stand for what you believe. Do not stand for what you don't believe that people think you should believe. And if you are mistreated by any principality, say it. Stand up for what you believe is right, and make sure that you guarantee for yourself a future. Part of the conversation that is going on in the country today is driven by our ideas. And sometimes I think we came before our very time. We came before, way ahead of our time. But that time must also be made to catch up with now. There's nobody who should be telling you that, your future is tomorrow, or tomorrow is your time. Now is your time. So I've been told that there might be some questions, and I know a lot of you might have questions. So I'm going to try to log into my Facebook, my Facebook, and answer some of those questions that you might have, so that we can make it as interactive as possible. I have other events today, so I may not take too long, but I'm happy to talk to you. I see already 170 comments. 170 comments. Broadcast interrupted is what I guess here. Yes. I think we got, is this broadcast interrupted? It is? I get broadcast interrupted. Okay. All right. So please, let's share this. Let's share this. Share this to your friends, and ensure that everybody is on board and we can talk to them. I get the message that broadcast interrupted here. Maybe I need another person's phone. Can somebody please give me their phone? All right. Okay. Sorry, I think we're there now. I'm trying to make sure that, does anybody have a silent phone that I can read questions from? Or can you read the questions from me are there questions? No questions. Well, if you have questions, please, let's have your questions, and let's ensure that we share this broadcast among our friends and families and our members who might be away at this time. Just to assure you that there's nothing to worry about. I'm fine. We got sick from being tear gassed, and but because we know that even more of this will happen, we have prepared the minds of our persons for it, and we will not want to join issues with anyone over this matter, except if there's any inaccurate portrayal of what happened yesterday. Then we'll be forced to, of course, join issues. That's one thing I tell you. So just let's have your questions if you have any questions. Okay, so get some medication to neutralize those. Yeah, I will inform. Yeah. So if you have any questions, please feel free to, but make sure you share this to all, so that we can get a lot of people to understand that we're fine. We're fine, and there's nothing to worry about. We're going to win the election next year, whether they like it or they don't like it. It's our time. It's our election. It's something that will take Nigeria to the next level. So let me be greeting our people here. So they need a sound louder. Is there a way we can make the sound louder here? Yes. Is your sound good? Yes. Zainab, do you have questions from your team?
Yes, somebody asked about what you were going to do about security.
Oh, security. Again, it's difficult to discuss security publicly, I have to say. But we will ensure that we keep ensuring that our security keeps getting better. Yes.
What was the motive of the gas attack yesterday?
We have no idea. We have no idea why. The reason that was given was that nobody told us who sent the gas at us, but we knew the direction it came from, and they gave different reasons, but we just couldn't understand why we had to be tear gassed. If it was the reason some people gave that I didn't prostrate, that's incorrect. We were kept waiting for a long time, and we had the right to say, look, we should be treated with dignity, because other presidential aspirants don't get treated like that. If it was Buhari or Bola Tinubu or the rest of them, they don't get treated like that. You will find some of our traditional rulers going to the airport to welcome other candidates, but because they probably don't take us serious enough or respected enough, that's probably why. But like I said, we resolved that as of yesterday. We eventually went ahead with our event, and we made it clear to the Oni of Ife how we felt, and we all had we left the place, everybody having resolved our differences. So we had 5:10 right now. Do you have more questions? Yes. What's the question?
Visiting the Obini, and why is it that you're having? Why was there a problem when you visited the Oni? You never had issues when you visited the Alafin.
Yes, I went to the Alafin of Oyo. It's important. I've been to the Emir of Kano. I've been to the Alafin of Oyo. I've been to the Obong of Calabar. I have been to a lot of traditional rulers. I've been to the Oba of Ekeoba, who was in the southeast. So, it's the same treatment everywhere. It's the same way we conduct ourselves everywhere, and nobody attacked us. Nobody tear gassed us. Nobody physically assaulted us. That's why we couldn't just understand why this happened. There are a lot of theories out there, but we don't know what it is. Yeah. They said the quality is better on your page. I think you should get closer because she's closer. Does everybody have?
When are you using the Oba of Benin?
The Oba of Benin, we still haven't received any communication from the Oba regarding the date yet. So as soon as we do so, the date that was initially given to us, they said the Oba needs to give a decree accepting the date, but he hasn't done that.
Do you have any people
in mind for your Aso Rock staff?
Aso Rock staff?
The press secretary, chief of staff, minister of education.
No, we'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
All the persons affected at the palace is okay now. Someone insinuated that there was fatality. Please confirm.
There's no fatality that we know of. It was some woman collapsed and was taken to the hospital, and the student that was that collapsed is fine now. But we don't know what happened. But we heard the woman is still in the hospital.
Who is going to be your vice president?
Not chosen yet. We'll decide that, I think, after or during the national convention. Is there any more questions? More volume, So the vocals is not sharp on this one.
Were you protesting at the palace yesterday?
No, it was live streamed. If I was protesting, you would say it. It was on live stream. Yeah, you can always.
How are you going to tackle the so-called NURTW because the government are still using them?
I don't think it's about tackling the NURTW. It's about putting in place a transportation policy that provide safe and affordable transportation for all. And when you put that in place, you don't have to deal with NURTW anymore. If you have a train going from Lagos to Ibadan, people have a choice to either go to NURTW or going through a safe and affordable transportation system. The rest of it is law enforcement.
Is the Oni of Ife going to see to it that they get to the bottom of what happened and brief you later?
I don't have that information, but I exchanged numbers with him, and I intend to call him to find out if he found out who did that to us. But again, we are not going to dwell on something that is past because we have a lot more to do ahead.
Also clarify regarding marijuana, your comment are about making it a cash crop, not anything about legalization. We have more serious immediate issues to tackle.
I would draw your attention to what is happening in New York City now. There's a lady named Cynthia Nixon. She's running for the governorship of New York State. New York State's budget is bigger than that of Nigeria, like by several billions. And you can imagine that she has said that this is going to become a cash crop for them. So if New York is going to legalize marijuana, we better have a market that can sell to them. What I've said that is being twisted for political reasons is that marijuana has several other uses that can benefit us. Nigeria burns over 1.5 trillion naira worth of marijuana every year. The NDLA, that's all they do. And they're chasing after all these guys. But regardless, you can find marijuana whenever you want it, which means that it's not effective. They are so-called anti-drug war. So instead of wasting your time and energy chasing after people and burning marijuana, why don't you package it and export it to markets around the world who are looking to make it into medicine, robes, jewelries, clothes? The uses of marijuana is unbelievable. The part of it that is causing people to think that marijuana is bad is because it has THC, which makes people high. But that's neither here nor there. It's not the reason why marijuana existed. It has several other uses, including the fact that it can be used to cure cancer or assuage the pain of cancer, nausea, and I made that comment at a health event when they were asking about traditional medicine. I said, look, the medicine is right there in front of you. Today there's an oil, that cannabis oil that cures a lot of things. It's sold, a small oil like this, it's sold for 50,000, a small pack of it sold for 50,000 naira. So you're here not understanding how these things, will just take a context out of it that, this guy wants to legalize marijuana, Igbo, and all of that. But the good news about it is that there is a conversation going on that have opened the eyes of a lot of people. And I love the fact that we are driving the conversation that is going on in the country right now regarding how things should be or how we should be discussing about the future. And the marijuana aspect of it is so interesting because it opened a lot of people's eyes. And the moment you learn something, you cannot unlearn it again. A lot of people did not know that marijuana can be used in making clothes. It's stronger than cotton, right? But guess what? The ogogoro we sell today in our part of the world, right? It used to be called illicit gin. It was even until the time I was 10 to 12 years old, they still used to seize ogogoro in Ondo State Riverine police, water police as they call them. They will be looking for anybody that is. The reason was that the white people, when they came with London dry gin, they discovered that there were better gins around here made by our own people. They criminalized it. That's why they call it illicit gin. But our gin is better than their London dry gin. But they couldn't deal with the fact that they met people who were innovative enough to create their own gin that is even stronger than the one that they have. So they criminalized it and they were importing gin into the country. Look at our country that we're talking about, we don't want legalization of marijuana, but you legalize a tobacco company. The British Tobacco Company is somewhere in Ibadan, I think, right? And they are making tobacco and you are smoking and killing yourself with cancer. But nobody says that's the wrong thing, you know. You are importing tramadol into the country, and young people are dying taking tramadol. The importers are not seen as killing the country. You know, so when we discuss ideas that are progressive, that shows that we know what is happening in the world, those who don't want to think outside of the box are the ones who will push back. Oh, my goodness, someone is going to be stealing both and things. And that's not something to be distracted about. Good news is that we're discussing something that is important and a lot of people never knew about. And a lot of people never knew that cannabis had other uses. They thought they only had THC. By the way, I've been calling it HTC. I'm sorry. I need to correct that. THC is, you know, the aspect that makes people high. There's a Nigerian brewery in this country, right? Right there in the Urilegomo. Everybody is drinking beer to solve other problems, but eventually, does alcohol do you any good? Of course, no. In fact, in research, there has never been a cannabis, what's it called, epidemic before in Nigeria. We researched it. There's never been a time that you found some people who were kept in one place and it was because they were smoking cannabis. You had cocaine epidemic, you had heroin epidemic, you now have tramadol and codeine. But there's no time in the history of Nigeria that we had an epidemic resulting from cannabis, because it's one of the most important plants in the world. In fact, there are variants of cannabis that don't have THC that can be grown, and they use them in making ropes, they use them in making clothes, they use them. You can use cannabis to kill other weeds. That's how powerful this plant is. And it's sitting down here in Ekiti, in Kwale. I heard, the Kwale people are upset with me, by the way. They said their own Igbo is stronger than the one in Ekiti. So, and you have them you have in Delta, Edo, and 1.5 trillion naira worth is destroyed every year. What is Nigeria's budget? 8-point-something trillion. Why do people keep doing the same thing over again, hoping to achieve a different result? And with all of the NDLA burning down of marijuana, you can even get it from the NDLA anytime you want. You can get an NDLA officer to provide you with a bag full of marijuana because of the corruption that is going on in the country. There's no time that there's ever been scarcity of marijuana. And other countries who have now realized the benefit of marijuana are legalizing marijuana. Last year, I think it was last year, in Colorado, they made over $2 billion, about $1 billion, dollars from legalization of marijuana. Canada is on the verge of doing it. I heard maybe Morocco sells it. So think, people. Think outside of the box.
What are you going to do about our hospitals?
Hospitals. We don't have hospitals. We just have mortuaries. We can't even call them dispensaries anymore. So part of what I've always said is that we have to act as if this country has got nothing. Start on a clean slate, build brand new hospitals, introduce new healthcare policies that will take care of all kinds of diseases, ensure that we have a universal healthcare system that ensure that everybody can get treated when they are sick, and all forms of things that needs to be done to elevate our health system to catch up with the rest of the world. Introduce telemedicine where Nigerian doctors who might be abroad can treat people at home over the telephone and make prescriptions for them. I do that when I'm traveling in Nigeria. Anytime I have a little problem, I call my US doctor. I don't have to be flown to the US like Papa who gets flown to London when he has air infection. I call the doctor will say, okay, give me your get a prognosis of what's wrong with me, symptoms, and they'll treat it, and I get well, and I keep going. So, but like these ideas are foreign to us as well, because people don't even know about telemedicine. It sounds like some esoteric science. Telemedicine, which one is that again? Is it medicine, or we call it a doctor calling you, We can also do it in country, where somebody in the village can get medical advice or medical treatment, but we have to have a national health insurance scheme that covers everybody, so that someone somehow can pay for it, so that doctors can get paid. But right now, the NHIS is a slush fund for political affairs or activities. Any question?
I didn't know you're single.
Is that a question?
Yes.
Very great question. I am married, and today exactly, it's 15 years since I've been married. And so, my Sherry Coco out there.
Don't talk much.
Anniversary. Happy anniversary. And my son, by the way, my son is also 9 years old today.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Papa, happy birthday. Sorry Daddy can't be home today because we have to save Nigeria.
How do
But
you
keep playing soccer so that you can join Nigeria in the World Cup next time.
How do you intend to tackle the Nigerian ambassadors that are delaying the Nigerian passport in diaspora?
I said it. One of the things that we have problem with is our visa structure. The way to tackle it is to make Nigeria visa free to every Nigerian who are Nigerians. So if you want to come to Nigeria under our regime, you won't need to go and get a passport. You have to get a passport. You come back home visa free, get your passport here, and then you go back. There's no need to be forcing people to get visas, but the passports, you have to make them available. But most countries are going even electronic with passports, so that you don't have a problem with paper passports as it is. So these things are things I'm exploring every day. By the time we get to office, I think electronic passports are things that will be ready that we can start to test.
Happy anniversary and happy birthday.
Thank you so much. That goes to my wife and my son. Thank you. You can buy them something. Yes, my son needs a drone. That's why he asked me this one. So anybody can send him a drone on my behalf, I really appreciate it. He needs like a really good drone. He's technologically inclined.
What are you doing about your region in the eastern part? What is not popular in the eastern part of the country?
I don't think so, but we need to do more work, yeah. We've been to Owerri, we've been to Abia, we went to Aba, and we visited a lot of places around Aba, and we've done Onitsha already, but we need to go back there, we need to go deep south. We've done 29 states as of yesterday, so Osun, where of course, Osun now, something must happen there.
What is your portfolio for 2019?
Portfolio? I don't understand that question.
Those you're appointing.
Oh, the people I'm appointing, we can't reveal them now. But Buhari will just go and steal our... No, I'm just kidding. No, we can't make appointments now. We'll make appointments at the right time. We have 679 views. Keep it going. Can we do the competition where we get to 1,000? 1,000 before we stop? So keep sharing until you get 1,000. Keep sharing until you get 1,000. We have to leave though. So if we don't do it on time, we might not be able to leave. Any more questions?
What are you doing about grassroots?
Grassroots? You mean grassroots campaigning? We're in grassroots. We're doing a lot of grassroots campaigning. In fact, it looks like we're the only people campaigning right now. The other people are just still, collecting funds from their parties with huge amount of money. But we're campaigning.
What are your plans for the crude oil producing communities in the South? What are you doing about leaders, religious and traditional leaders?
South production. I'm from oil producing area from the states. I've said that I support the communities getting a portion of profit or proceed from oil companies directly, in addition to what the federal government is giving them 13% derivation. Like each community that has oil hosted, we'll look at how many barrels of oils have been taken from there, and we can give them we can get the companies to give them a part of the profits. And we have to clean up the Niger Delta, there's no question about it. Starting from everywhere, Ogoni land, Elijah land, Ishakiri, Urubu, Ijo land, everywhere. We need to clean up the Niger Delta region. It's not my job to regulate religion and tradition. but we will strongly encourage, culture in
Yeah.
such a way that it's liberating.
Do you have people working on the campaign in the corner?
Yes, we have, and I think we're going to release a list of all of our. If you go to our party page, aacparty.org, you will find some information that you need.
When is the national convention?
October 6th. State convention is September 22nd.
Are you going to accept the VP to represent the president for the debates?
No, I heard about this. President Buhari has said that his vice president, Professor Shibajo, will be the one debating on his behalf. I'm not debating Oshibajo. I'm debating Oshibajo will be debating our own vice presidential candidate. I'm debating Buhari directly. There's no compromise on that one.
What are you going to do about our database?
We'll merge all the databases in the country. Right now, I've identified about almost five places where Nigerians have their databases. Some of them with private individuals and companies. First is to do data security. We'll merge all the data, sync them, and clean them up. And I can find data, in the immigration department right now, which is I think Ministry of Internal Affairs, banks, cell phone companies, INEC, and registration of national ID card. You have to merge all those data, keep them secure so that it's not infiltrated, and then use them for the purposes for which we need data, national development. There's nothing like having data, so, and already we have enough data to start with. We just need to merge them and clean it up into one data sender. Yeah, so, and like I said, we're going to appoint a national technology officer for Nigeria because we're in a technological era and we cannot afford to be keeping our technological policies with people with analog mentalities and brand. Yeah.
Bolane Oyapayo
Yes.
is asking you to name the brand of drone, and you'll contact one of your team to send it to you.
Wow, someone's going to buy my son a drone. What's that? DJI. It is a DJI have like a small copter. Yeah. No, that one is too expensive. I don't want to give him something that will not make him go to school. I think it's a Spark. Yeah, the Spark is relatively affordable. Or something that I would like a DJI thing to give to him. Wow. I hope he's not watching and he won't let me rest.
How are you going to tackle INEC now to ensure that you give a credible election come 2019?
We already started tackling INEC. You remember that we went there to protest against their decision to stop voter registration. And now voter registration was extended for 2 weeks. And within that 2 weeks, I had a lot of people register. I don't know the final figures yet. Well, there are over 14 million new voters now. Last election was won by about 14 million. So already, if all those 14 million people are voting for us, we've won. Because these people are shooting themselves in the leg. So keep sharing. Didn't you want to reach 1,000?
What about legislative?
Want to reach 1,000? Yeah. If we can, we'll close in 5 minutes.
What about legislative arm of your government? How do you want to perform without them slowing down your government?
We have people who are running for offices in other areas. And if you're out there and you want to contest on the platform of AAC, the opportunities are open and we don't charge those kind of fees that will run you out of town. So we just charge a token so that we can maintain the party. So we intend that we're hoping to see new lawmakers, serious ones, and we've been getting a lot of people who are interested. I think at this point we have almost 1,000 contestants on our platform who have indicated they want to run on our platform. Yes.
What will you do about our porous borders?
Porous borders, police them very well. But I'm also an advocate of, a united African continent. So I'm not going to be constructing walls without police borders appropriately. We have enough people who can police our borders, but they are all interested in working at the port and the airport where they think it's lucrative to extort money from travelers and people who are importing goods. You just have to make sure that you're rotating officers equip them properly, train them properly, and put them on the border. And where necessary, if you need to put some infrastructure at the border to ensure that people don't cross, you can do that. And those places that are particularly very vulnerable to terrorism.
What are you doing about women? Are you carrying them along?
Absolutely. Can't you see that you're hearing a lot of women voices in the background? Yes, we're carrying them along, but we invite more women to join our party, please, please, please. It will be our preference that will be known as a party that has a lot of women on board. Yeah, a lot of women still don't like politics. I don't know, it's very tough, I have to say. It's just haven't been able to get out of that situation that our society put them in, which is to shame women who are engaging in politics and dissuade them and tell them that they're no good and they should not come out and all of that. Please do not be afraid. Come out and join us. Come out and join us. We are 700.
Section 29, subsection 4b of the Constitution, any man or man shall be deemed to be of full age. What can you do to address this section as it's open to be used to rig elections in 2019?
That ties with underage voting, and we are still expecting INEC to come out with a report on the underage voting situation in Kano. I will keep pressing for that. Somebody who is not 18 cannot become eligible to vote simply because they got married. That's wrong.
How do you intend to raise over $50 billion needed to get up our generating capacity?
50 billion. No, I've said it before. Whatever can pay for itself, you always find people can invest in them. But most importantly, there are new technologies or technological ways of generating electricity that's cheaper. I mentioned solar. Solar is not necessarily cheaper to install, but it takes longer. If you install, solar power plants, they can get a warranty of 50 years on every farm, and that's big. That's good enough. It means that at the end, it's cheaper to install solar than to do these things the way we are doing them now. But you can also increase gas to locations that are currently being fired by gas, by ensuring that apart from just the pipelines, you have vehicles that can carry gas to those places, protected and deliver the gas, and there's no interruption in electrical. And you can also construct train lines that can take gases to power plants. So these are things that we can do now, and we will do starting from next year. But again, you need to understand how the world works for you to understand there are newer and cheaper ways of generating electricity.
What are your plans in terms of implementing our tax laws? A lot of foreign companies and highly placed individuals are not fiscally responsible. What are you doing about it?
We will. One of the things we found out in our research since we started this campaign is that a lot of foreign companies actually don't pay tax, and they're cheating the federal government. They also abuse their expatriate quota. Our policy will be that anything that you can find a Nigerian to do, wherever they are in the world, you cannot bring an outsider to do it for us. The way immigration policies for employment are shaped in other parts of the world, and I've seen it happen before. Yeah.
What social package do you have, like unemployment benefits, housing benefits, just like is obtainable in the UK?
Well, so unemployment benefits would be for, one of the things I said is that it will create about 5 million jobs within 3 years, and that's a lot, considering what we want to do in bringing power, increasing the presence of our security everywhere. We should hire almost 1 million security agents, in the Army, Navy. And one of the things we need to do, though, is to make sure that when these vacancies are available, we put them in a central pool. Everybody must be forced to submit vacancy of their department into a central pool. So it will no longer be the job of the permanent secretary to be appointing people through the back door. Because if you are not careful in the next 4 years under Buhari, if you come back, you won't find any ministry that is not a member of his family or the extended family. That's how they're doing it now. So we will ensure that this is done. And then in terms of package, if you're entering the employment market and you have indicated that you are willing to work, while you are waiting to be employed in those areas that are available for employment, yes, you can be paid employment support, unemployment support, anytime you find a job. It's not going to happen ad infinitum because we won't have the resources to keep paying people who don't want to work. It has to be, a benefit to work kind of package, and we'll reveal all of this. It has to be people who are willing to go to work and who are willing, if necessary, to undertake some kinds of training. For example, when we hire 200,000 teachers, they have to be trained for 6 months. So that 6 months, you get a package as an unemployed person who is also training before you become a teacher. The same thing will happen for, so it's not that you provide empowered jobs for the children of the poor and then you provide CBN jobs for your children. That's not empowerment. Yeah.
I hope the ugly scene at the Onis Palace won't affect your future visitation to Ile-Ife and Osun State as a whole.
No, we after we left the palace, we still went back to campus. So, at all.
When are you going back to see the Brekete family?
When we get an invitation to go back there, as amazing. We had a good time for the very short time we were there. Yesterday, the other day. Yes, so Brekete, if you're there, ordinary president.
What are your plans for Lagos?
I cannot give my address online, but I will. You can just chat one of our people here, or you can chat me on Facebook, or you can DM me on Twitter at Yele Shore, and I'll send the address. So, huh?